All right, man, you see the title, you see the thumbnail, man. It's looking like Joe Schoen and the Giants front office is making calls to potentially add a wide receiver to this team, and this should come at no surprise. Listen, we're still running off of a high on that Thursday Night Football win against those dirty birds. Jaxson Dart, Cam Scatterbo has injected life into this team, and with that being a point of topic, they want to add more weapons to this offense to help their rookie quarterback succeed for the rest of this season. And as we know, Malik Nabers, the best wide receiver on this team, unfortunately went down with the season-ending injury. They also won that Thursday Night Football game without Darius Slayton, so their top two wide receiver targets were out of the game. You saw them utilizing a lot more tight ends, but is that offense sustainable? Are they able to run an offense like that for the rest of this year? Darius Slayton will be back, but how will it be once he's back in the fold? The Giants are making calls as we speak, per Mike Garafolo and Ian Rappaport around the league, just trying to see what's available. What kind of wide receiver is available? What would it cost? Now, making calls is making calls. You're just checking the temperature real quick, and especially for a team like the New York Giants that don't have all the cap space in the world, might not have everything to throw at a wide receiver to get a deal like that done. Joe Schoen is just checking the temperature, but I do think he will look to add a wide receiver for sure before the deadline, which is going to be early in November. We have a couple of weeks until that deadline, and looking at the state of this team, man, they do need another wide receiver threat. They do. We saw how bad the depth was. We talked about how bad the depth was, and even with the Giants getting it done against the Eagles does not mean that they can move like this for the rest of the season. Jaxson Dart, he's put him into the game. He's been looking pretty good. He's looked pretty good ever since making his first 3 starts in the league. But you know we need more of a threat on the outside. We do. Without Malik Nabers, this was never in the fold. This was never the plan. Injuries never are part of the plan, but we have to be real. We have to realize we need the depth in case it happens, and the Giants just don't have that depth. So what are the kind of wide receivers you can look to see potentially Joe Schoen look to add? I think you have to look at the top wide receivers that are available. What's more realistic? What's a deal that the Giants can potentially make with the wide receiver after their contract is up? Because a couple of these guys are on expiring contracts and not huge contracts, but then you have some guys that are under contract. I'm here to give you 3 wide receivers that we got to start talking about. The first one is the most likely candidate, in my opinion, even though it's a part of the same conference, and that's going to be Romeo Doubs. Romeo Doubs from the Green Bay Packers is coming off of a last year of his career, and he's just on the outside of it when it comes to that wide receiver room. Now, recently for Green Bay, they got guys that are injured right now. You got Christian Watson still with that ACL injury that's looking to make his way back, and I believe Reed is also injured and out for a bit. So Romeo Doubs has played a little bit, but he's just on the outside. When those guys get back, especially after drafting a first-round wide receiver, they're going to probably not have Romeo Doubs in the fold, and you can see them potentially moving him before the deadline is up. The Giants should be one of the main ones making this call. Now, I'm not sitting here to tell you that Romeo Doubs is an elite wide receiver, that he'll instantly be the wide receiver 1, but Romeo Doubs could add more talent to this room and shouldn't cost the Giants too much. I can see a 5th-round pick, making this move because, once again, the guy is coming off of an expiring contract. You don't have ties to him after this upcoming season. So if this is a move that the Giants just want to push a couple draft pick towards for Jaxson Dart to finish out his rookie season, to also finish out the season with at least a somewhat talented wide receiver group, then this is the move you try to make. Now, a lot of people are going to hear this and say, talent wide receiver room. We have Jalen Hyatt, who we invested in. We have Wan'Dale Robinson, who we invested in. We need more depth at that group. That's the point of this conversation, and that's the point that I think Joe Schoen and company definitely see. You want your rookie quarterback to be set up for success, and without a Malik Nabers, and we already seen what this offense looks like without Darius Slayton, is this offense sustainable? We don't know. So looking to add a receiver, a Romeo Doubs could be perfect. Some people looked around the league and, you think about the history of the Giants, adding a guy like Isaiah Hodgins and what that did for that season. You can see that type of move happen with this season as well. We don't need a wide receiver 1 to enter this team when we have one in Malik Nabers that's going to get paid eventually as well. We need a guy that can come in and just help the rookie quarterback, and also just add some talent to this room. That's what we need. Second wide receiver I want to speak on is Jakobi Meyers. Now, he's probably going to be one of the higher, price tag wide receivers in my opinion. He requested a trade early in the season, and they pretty much just told him, we have no plans to trade you. He's been playing out on that contract, but that Raiders offense is bad. Geno Smith is not a great quarterback. I think we've known that. We've, beaten him when he's been across from us a couple times, but that offense is not good. Jakobi Meyers and that team is probably going to be sellers, and you might see Jakobi Meyers be moved. Is this a deal that the Giants would want to make? A couple years ago, I made it known that we should probably try to sign Jakobi Meyers when he was a free agent. That didn't happen. And granted, we got our wide receiver one way or another. But can Jakobi Meyers be that type of guy that gets traded for? In my opinion, he is an aging wide receiver. He's older than the other two candidates that I do have here. And currently, his cap hit would be, higher than the other two guys. Now, the Giants have little to no cap space. That's something that we have to factor into these type of trades and deals. We'd have to definitely move some things around to get this guy to fit. But Jakobi Meyers has had success in the NFL. And once again, to be able to step up and be potentially the wide receiver one for this team with Malik Nabers out, help out your young quarterback, help out a Darius Slayton. He's kind of like a Darius Slayton, but in my opinion, I think he has more of a better route tree than Darius Slayton. That's just me. Also, when you think about making catches, come on, maybe he's a little bit better than Darius Slayton in that department. But that's Jakobi Meyers. He got to be a candidate, and that's potentially another big wide receiver that's going to be on the market. This last one is the most unlikely, but the most talented out of the three guys I just mentioned. And if there was a way to make this get done, and if there was a way to be able to sign him when you have a rookie quarterback contract, you're going to have some freed up space eventually. This is for Chris Olave. Chris Olave should be the number one, candidate. This is probably the most far-fetched one because it's also going to cost you a lot more. Are the Saints really wanting to part ways with Chris Olave? That's the biggest thing. The team is probably not going to be a good team. The Saints team did beat us. Unfortunately, they beat us, but they're probably not going to win a lot of games. Maybe they want to part ways, get some picks back, but Chris Olave could cost around a second-round pick to a third-round pick for sure. Chris Olave has struggled to stay on the field and has injuries, but coming out of Ohio State with his partner out there in New York Jets, he's been a talented wide receiver. His talent is undeniable. He's been making, plays. He's been really opening things up with that route tree. Chris Olave is a smooth route runner. I feel like he's very underrated because of the team that he's on, and the quarterback play that he's had over there has not been good. It just hasn't. And Chris Olave has been playing with that since he's been drafted into the league. Chris Olave is a guy that's going to need a contract pretty soon, but what will that contract demand? It's not going to be top 5 money. I don't think it's going to be top 10 money either. I just don't think the production is right up there with other guys, but you still could see him request that. So with a trade like this potentially on the block, it would cost the Giants a lot. And they already don't have their second round pick for next year. So when you think about what they would have to do to get this trade done, it would cost a lot. This is the most unlikely trade, but in my opinion, have Chris Olave and Malik Nabers on the same team, sign me up. Figure out a way to get it done, Joe Schoen, and sign me up. Listen, it's a lot easier said than done for me to say that on this side of the camera versus Joe Schoen on the other side. But all I can say is that a wide receiver in this offense, especially when you have a quarterback contract that we all hear it, you got to take advantage of the quarterback contract before he gets paid. You can have premium positions when you have that rookie quarterback at that contract. It's time to see it, man. We know this is the last year of Daniel Jones with that cap hit. Next year is going to be freed up. We're going to have some space this upcoming years. It's how to be able to maximize that. That's my top 3 targets to talk about with the wide receiver room, man. I want you guys to let me know out of these 3 guys, or if there's another guy I missed, let me know in the comments, man, what you guys think about these wide receiver targets. And can the Giants actually make a move like this? It's crazy to say after a win like we got on Thursday Night Football that now we're talking about potentially being buyers at the trade deadline, but it's purely from a standpoint of needing depth at the position and needing more talent at that position. Jaxson Dart has looked great so far, but we know in my heart of hearts, I don't think the offense that we saw on that Thursday is sustainable, and especially with that wide receiver room, the receiving room. Let's add another guy. Let's give Jaxson Dart another target to throw to. Shout out to Lil Joe Humphrey, though. Hey, shout out to LJ Humphrey. Maybe he is that guy that we should be interjecting as well. I want you guys to let me know down below, man. I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.